just really devastating. Can you kind of take us through what you were told happened?
Um, I wasn't really told much that happened, not from the detectives or any law enforcement. Um, I guess they were more concerned with getting as much information from me as they could. They weren't really providing much information. Even after I let them know multiple times, like I wasn't in town and neither were my brothers, so we kind of didn't really know what was going on. We No one was there, so no one has the story of what happened. No one in the world. Um, because as everyone knows, my dad is now in jail, and my mom is no longer with us. So, but what happened is probably something that if we ever get the answer to that, it won't be anytime soon.
And so the man was your father, biological father.
Correct.
When you get that call that your mother has been murdered by her husband, what's going through your mind?
Um, Disbelief, of course, shock, of course. I feel like everyone involved, myself, my siblings, our spouses, our children, I feel like everyone is in such a state of confusion because my father loved my mother dearly. Um, so we're utterly confused because, of course, what's being put out right now is that there was a domestic dispute and that this was a domestic violent situation, but unfortunately, that wasn't my parents. Their relationship wasn't tumultuous. Their relationship wasn't arguments all day, every day over the small things. We're talking about people who've been together for 30 years of their lives. Um, they've raised three children who are now raising a slew of grandkids. And all of that we lost in the blink of an eye. So um, I think without anybody being there, I think we should stop painting a narrative because we don't know. Um, my mother wasn't a weak individual. She wasn't an individual that didn't have people that she couldn't talk to if she was going through something. She, if she were in a situation that she felt like she couldn't get out of, um, she dig her way out of it. She wasn't abused. She wasn't mentally, verbally, like that's not what was going on there. That's not what was going on there, which is again where everyone's confusion is coming from. We just don't know what happened.
And when you get the call that your father has been charged with first degree murder, what are you thinking right now?
Anger, anger, because that's the truth, you know. That's what happened. We don't have many questions. Um, we're just angry that it happened. Um, anger, anger.
And can you tell us about your mother? Who is your mother, Tammy?
Um, she was a diva. She was the biggest diva. Um, she was the flyest, prettiest girl. That's all she wanted to do was look good, and she had the sweetest heart. Even as a grown woman, my mother unfortunately didn't make it to her 60th birthday. She'll be 59 on this Friday, but even as a grown woman, uh, she's just a girl. She's just a girl. She just liked to do her makeup. She worked at Ulta. She just liked to go hang out with her girls at work. She worked at AT&T in the day, and then she worked at Ulta on the weekends and in the evenings. And she just liked to be with her girls. And she was a pastor as well. Um, at the Well Worship Center, she loved her church family. Oh, she loved her church family. She'd give you the shirt off of her back. And everybody says that when something like this happens, you know? Um, but I could probably walk through a mall and run across four or five random people that my mother and father had encountered and probably helped just in my lifetime. And I'm the youngest of my siblings. Um, They've taken people in their homes off of the streets, their children as well. They've fed people for months and months at a time. Confusion, confusion. It doesn't make sense.
What do you think made your father snap?
We don't know. But I feel like everyone in my family has used the same exact word that you just used. Um, I don't feel like any of us genuinely believe this was anything that he harbored, or that this was anything that something happened. Something happened. And unfortunately, nobody was there. And for whatever reason, neither one of them called anybody. We're close. We have a very big family and we're very close. No one called anybody. No one called anybody. When tensions got high, no one called anybody and said, hey, man, your mama tripping. That's my dad. She didn't call and say, yeah, you can't tell your dad nothing. That's my mom. Not this. Not, yeah.
And you think that your parents, from as far as you know, they got along, there was no signs of abuse, no signs of domestic violence.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Which I feel like is what makes it hurt the most, because what reason did you have to do what you did? We don't excuse you. We don't excuse you. But we don't excuse you. But we also don't want anyone painting the incorrect picture. You did what you did, but they weren't in a domestic abusive relationship. Something happened and nobody was there. And only one of the people made it out. And no one has talked to him. So the same answers that everybody wants now, because my mom is the prettiest girl in the world and she's now a viral sensation, we want those answers too. We don't know why. We don't know why. But
Now, tell us about your father. What do you want people to know about your father?
um my dad is a very well-known guy. So I feel like those that know my dad. So I don't really have to paint a picture for him. Um he loved my mom. My dad loved him. That was his girl. My dad loved my mom. Um, yeah,
And you said you have not had a conversation with him yet. You haven't been able to talk to him right now, correct?
no man.
Is there anything else? Your mother, you have so much love for your mother and the way you described her. You said that she's a beautiful woman and you had so much love for her. If you could say one last thing to your mother, what would you want to say to her?
Job well done, my girl. You did a good job. 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 And I was ready. And I'm handling it. And you would be so proud. And you could sleep well.
Tell us about your last conversation with your mother. When was the last time you spoke to her?
It was the morning of, and I was at her house, at my parents' house, because my dad was taking me and my fiance and my son to the airport. And so we were just, giving our hugs and kisses and safe travels and I love yous. I'll see you when you get back. And we communicated throughout the day. I was moving from airport to airport.
You're saying that you were in Charlotte, or she was in Utah.
So she was in Charlotte. I'm still in Utah. I haven't made it back home yet.
Oh, okay. When you mentioned the airport, I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah,
understood.
so while I was at the airport, like when I would made it because I had a layover. So when I made it to my layover, I let her know, "Hey, mom, here." She, "Okay, baby." And then when I made it to the final destination, "Hey, mommy, I'm here." And she, "Yay!" Send me pictures. And it.
Gotcha. Anything else you want to say or add? Any final thoughts?
No, no final thoughts. No final thoughts. I'm glad that you guys reached out. I'm glad that I was able to shed some sort of light and provide some sort of insight. Um, she was no victim. She was no victim, and I can't let that be the narrative. She was a very strong woman. She was a very strong woman. She had all 10 of her toes, all 10. Um, Not sure what happened, but it happened, and we're here. Um, and we thank God for life every day.
And you said your mother was a pastor. That church is in Charlotte. What's the name of it again?
No, ma'am, she's a pastor at the Well Worship Center in Statesville, North Carolina.
In Statesville. Okay.
Correct.
Statesville. She the head pastor or she one of the
No, she's not the head pastor. My uncle Cedric Johnson, he's the head pastor there.
okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Our photographer has one last question that he wants
Absolutely.
to. Can you hear him?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the next steps?
Woo. Um, we're taking everything kind of slow. Um, we're taking everything kind of slow. So, of course, laying her to rest. That'll happen here within the next week or so. We've just now began telling her grandchildren, what's happened. The oldest got the information just an hour ago. Um, it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. Um, that's all there is to do though, is to put her to rest because we're still here.
What are her grandchildren saying?
What are they saying?
Yes. What are her grandchildren saying to you when you gave them that news? What was their response?
Um, yeah, they just started crying. It was they weren't really wordy. She was very close with all of her grandkids. She would very openly let it be known that she loved her grandchildren way more than she loved her children. And that just was what it was. And then we just had to deal with that. We could ask her for something and not get it. They could ask her for something and it was theirs. Those was grandma's babies. Those was Grammy's babies. Mm-hmm. And they were just hurt. There was no words. There was no words. Just pure emotions. They're young. The oldest of her grandchildren is 11 years old, and the youngest is 1. So they're very young. It'll be an easier process, of course, because they are so young, but a process nonetheless. Just pray for her oldest grandchildren. Pray for her oldest grandchildren. They had the most time with her. They're the most, you know, knowing. So just,